Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our MQ Trader webinar tonight on strategizing a trade plan for year 2023. I'm Casey, your host for today's event. I'm from MQ Trader. Before I start, can I have a quick mic check? Can you type 1 in the chat box if you can hear me clearly? Edward, you're the first one. Thank you for your response. Okay, so I believe there are a lot of one already. Yeah, so I believe everyone can hear me clearly. Thank you for your response. So let me start with a brief introduction to MQ Trader. MQ Trader stands for Malaysia Quantitative Trader Group. We collect quantitative data, which is only available to large financial institutions. And we've used this data, we compile it into what we call MQ Trader Stock Analysis Tool. And we have made it available free for all our MQ members. This is so that we can empower them to make quicker decisions and with greater confidence. So with MQ Trader, other than the stock analysis tool, we also have MQ E-Trade, MQ Points Accumulation, MQ Affiliate Program, and many, many more. So to enjoy free access to all these MQ Trader system, you just need to open a trading account with our selected advertiser, which is M Equities LIH team. So if you're interested, you can scan the QR code on the screen or type 5 in the chat box and the support team will contact you shortly. And here's a showcase on our MQ E-Trade system. This is a system where you can view a lot of information of a counter at a glance. So information including market quotes, exclusive MQ trading signals, and also up to 10 market depths. So these are the info that will help to facilitate your trading journey. And here's a showcase on our MQ Trader Stock Analysis tool. You can get buy and sell signals with just one click. So you can also do back test to test past signals accuracy with this system. So I see a lot of people responding already. And the support team will contact you shortly after this. So I just want to highlight, other than the system, we are giving extra points as well if you open a trading account today. We are giving 500 extra MQ points to all who open an account from this webinar. So remember to scan the QR code, submit your contact details. The respective team will contact you shortly. We're also running our Chinese New Year campaign, where you can get one free MQ calendar for year 2023. You just need to open a trading account, or for MQ members is you redeem your MQ points at our marketplace. You redeem any MQ merchandise also can. So if you are thinking about it, or thinking about opening an account, or thinking about redeeming your points, do quickly redeem it, or do quickly register your interest so that you can get this MQ calendar for free. And for MQ members, you can also get extra 300 MQ points for check-in rewards. You just need to take a screenshot of the webinar at any point and then submit a screenshot to the quiz that will be sent to your email after the webinar ends. So I'll give you a few seconds here to take a screenshot now in case you've forgotten about it later. Jaden, yes, it's a very beautiful calendar customized by our team. Okay, remember to take a screenshot. And to get our post-webinar quiz, you need to remember to register for our webinar. So if you are not registered, do register now so that you can get our post-webinar quiz and also post-webinar recordings. Again, I'll pause here briefly. For those who want to register, you can do so now. And for those who are still thinking of when to take your screenshot, remember to take it now so that you can get your 300 MQ points as well. We will be having a Q&A session later, so please feel free to send us your inquiries throughout the webinar. And right after the Q&A, before the webinar ends, right after the Q&A, we will have a mysterious gift session. We will be giving out gifts worth up to 249 ringgit. So make sure to stay till the end so that you can get a chance to win our gifts. On our speaker today, we have invited Dan Chang to speak with us in this webinar. He is graduated from Bachelor of Business Administration from NUS. He worked in the brokerage firm right after he graduated until now. So with about more than 21 years experience in the Singapore brokerage firm, he's currently here to share with us his insights. And today he will be sharing with us on how we can invest in the Singapore market in year 2023. He will start with reflecting on the year 2022 and then explain about what we can look forward to in 2023 and also how we can formulate our trade plan for this year. So are you guys ready for him to share with us now? Can you type ready in the chat box to let me know you are ready? Gio, you are the first one to get ready. Yeah, so since everyone is ready, let me invite Dan to share with us now. Dan, I'll pass the time to you.
Hey, hi, thanks, Casey. Hi, everyone. Okay, maybe I share screen first.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can you all see? Okay, I guess so, right? Okay, hi, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for taking their precious time off to spend this evening with me. Tonight, the topic for this webinar is strategizing a trade plan for 2023. And we are actually at the beginning of 2023. So hopefully, through this webinar, I'll be able to evaluate to you and maybe provide some investment idea for you to formulate your own trade plan for the year. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let me just what do you need first? Okay, just some quick background about me. So I'm presently a trading MES licensed trading rep with a Singapore broking firm and as well as a SGX academy speaker. Okay, I actually joined this Singapore broking firm, Philip Capital, back in 2001, straight after graduation. So this is actually my 32nd year with them. So yeah, it's been a very, very long time. Okay, so I mainly do traditional stockbroking. And in recent years, I do advisory service and manage account as well. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on myself. So you guys can find out more about me at this link, bit.ly/TPP-DAN. Okay, after this webinar, right, if you all have any question that you all are not able to get answered in a Q&A session, you all can scan the QR code here to add my contact list to your handphone. Okay. I'm on LinkedIn as well, so please feel free to connect with me. Okay. Okay. General disclaimer, common but important. Okay. First thing, all views in this webinar is solely my own view. Okay, and it's not representative of any organization. Okay. Second, this webinar is for sharing and educational purposes. And third, this webinar is not meant to do any stock recommendation or an investment to buy any financial product. Okay, so with that, right, we will go into the topic proper. Okay, from my background, from what Casey has introduced me, right, most of you might know that today, most likely I'll be talking about Singapore market. Okay, a lot of you may ask, why Singapore market? I mean, US market is so exciting, Hong Kong market is so vibrant. Okay, so why Singapore market? Singapore is known to be a boring market. Okay, but the thing is that we have to ask ourselves, when we invest in the stock market, right, are we looking for excitement or are we looking to make money? Okay, so if your objective is the later, right, actually Singapore market is actually an option as well. Okay, although Singapore may not be as exciting as say the US, the Hong Kong market, or even the Shanghai Commodity Index. Okay, but we do have our value in it. Okay, so if boring, as the article said, if boring offers peace of mind and potential growth, then why not consider it? Okay, so I will back this up with some data that I have collected. Okay, so as you can see, right, this is the chart for the year 2022 of some of the major market, the global market that most of the investors have been looking at. Okay, primarily the US one, S&P 500, Hang Seng, and we have this Shanghai Commodity Index as well, China. Okay, so as you can see, for the year 2022, S&P 500 have registered a loss. Okay, same with Hang Seng and Shanghai Commodity Index as well. Okay, So Singapore market, the STI, actually managed to clock in a small gain. I mean, it's nothing to crow about. It's actually a very, very small gain, but at least they still make a gain in a very challenging year. Okay. And comparatively speaking, right, the ASEAN market actually performed better than the global market. Okay. In ASEAN, right, we have about, say, 10 countries. Okay. But usually the more popular one would be Singapore market, Malaysia market, and Thailand market. Okay. So you can see here, right, even for these Malaysia market, although it is a loss for the year, the loss is actually relatively lesser than the Hang Seng Index and the S&P. Okay, so actually Malaysia, Thailand, and even Singapore, right, we have outperformed most of the global market. Okay, and for Thailand, it actually almost flat, I would say, almost flat. Okay, it's just along the flat line there. Okay, and Singapore was very lucky or very resilient here. They managed to actually clock a very small gain here. Okay. So, okay. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to say that Singapore is the best market to invest in. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are looking for a market that is stable and that's resilient to a downturn, then probably you may want to consider Singapore market. Because as you can see in 2022, STI is one of the very, very few global indices that actually clocked in again. Okay. Okay. To come up with a trade plan for 2023, okay, we have to look backwards to what has happened. And we also have to see what factor is going to affect us in the coming months, okay, in the next 1 year. Okay. So reflecting on 2022, right? Okay, so this is the chart of STI for the year 2022. Okay, what happened was that back here, right? Back here, okay, this is the Omicron period. Okay, I believe a lot of market behaved the same way during the Omicron period, but Omicron is actually the last few COVID variant that actually have a big impact on the global stock market. So it was very short. So after that, right, at the turn of the year, we start to see market coming out of the pandemic. Okay, so you can see the STI actually trend up all the way to year high. Okay, this phenomenon, right, is not only to Singapore market. If you look at the Hang Seng Index, the S&P, the Malaysia market, all react the same way. Okay, it wasn't until this date, right, 24th of February, I can remember very clearly, where the Russian President Putin decided to invade Ukraine. Okay, and what happened, what followed next was that we saw a very, very steep fall. Okay, this is in line with the global market as well. Okay, if you look at all other markets, they all display the same way. Okay, and just 2 weeks later, there was actually a talk of some news on the possibility of a P stock, but of course it did not happen lah. Okay, but because of the news, our market actually recovered back. Okay, the STI actually recovered back. Okay, if I remember correctly, even okay, let me just backtrack a bit now. So you can see, right, even for Malaysia, for Thailand, they also actually regain back some of the losses lah. But for global market, the uptrend, right, if you notice here, it was actually going back to only about 50% of where they dropped from. Okay, and for Hang Seng, it was even less than 50%. I think they only recovered about 40%. Okay, so STI was actually one of the few that actually go back to near the high of the year. Okay, and at this stage, right, another thing happened here. Okay, so what happened was that the Federal Reserve decided to hike the rate at 0.25%. Okay, 25 basis points. It was the first rate hike in about 2-3 years, because as far as I can remember, the last rate hike that we see is probably in about end of 2018. Okay, since then we have only seen rate cuts and unchanged rate. So this is actually the first rate hike in many years, about 2 or 3 years. Okay, so the market react. Okay, it came down, but the downturn was not so bad. Okay, the downtrend was not so bad. Okay, and they actually recovered a bit until the first 0.75% rate hike came in. I don't think I need to explain too much because this is widely published on the public media. So what happened is that this is the first 0.75% rate hike that we see since 1994. Okay, that's about almost 3 decades, about 38 years to be exact. Okay, so once the Federal Reserve hiked this 0.75% rate hike, right? What happened or what follows was that the market has been on a downward trend. Okay, has been on a downward trend for a few months until about July. Okay, what happened is that July we start to see some green shoots here. Why? Okay, if you notice, right, all these events are macroeconomic events. Okay, but actually for companies that come out from these Omicron, right, a lot of companies are actually making profit already on an individual level. Okay, so the quarterly reporting was very good for most of the companies in Singapore. Okay, and therefore we see a uptrend here. Okay, because the quarterly earnings season lasts about 1.5 months around there. Okay, so it went up all the way up to here. Okay, we trace a bit. Okay, then this day came. Okay, so what happened is that for those who have been watching the market, you guys may remember that back in September, right, there was a so-called, I won't call it a black swan event, but it is a surprise event. So what happened is that the US released their August CPI figures and it surprised on the upside. Okay, and that took a lot of people by surprise or by shock, I would say. Okay, so what followed next was a third consecutive 0.75% rate hike, and from then all the way the market has been dropping. Okay, and this phenomenon, right, is happening to every market. Okay, be it whether it's Hang Seng, whether it's S&P, even Dow Jones, Nasdaq, or Shanghai Commodity Index. So we all react the same way. And for Singapore, right, we actually hit a year low of about 2,950 over points. Okay, then after that we saw some rebound and we just end the year on a very mute term now. Okay, so looking back, right, in 2022, okay, 4 events actually impact our market a lot, our Singapore listed company a lot. Okay, first we have this Ukraine crisis. Okay, so when Russia invade Ukraine, right, it create a conflict. Okay, it create a conflict. So what happened is that a lot of countries, led by the US, the NATO, they impose a lot of sanctions on Russia. Okay, Russia is a member of OPEC Plus. Okay, so they are a major oil exporter. Okay, so when the sanction came in, right, there's actually a supply plunge because they no longer can they don't allow the Russian oil to go out. Okay, so there's a short of supply. Okay, that leads to a surge in all the oil price. Okay, then Russia is also a major supplier of gas to Europe. Okay, and Ukraine, right, we actually sit in between Europe and Russia. Okay, so when the war first broke out, right, there is also we also disrupt the gas supply to Europe. Okay, and that lead to a lot of a surge in all the commodity price. Okay, and the second event is interest rate hike. Okay, so what happened is that, as most of you might have known, interest rate hike actually over in US, right, interest rate hike actually affected most of the tech company. Okay, company like Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, okay, Netflix, all this. Okay, because they are growth company, and when there's an interest rate hike, it actually cuts into the growth stocks projection of P&L. Okay, but in Singapore, right, it is slightly a different story because Singapore market, we don't have any big tech firm. Okay, we do have a lot of supplier to big tech firm, but we don't have any really what we call a big tech firm. The only one we have is venture corporation, but venture is more of tech manufacturing. Okay, so manufacturing for the tech company is not so much of a tech company per se. Okay, but what happened was that the impact is actually on REITs. Okay, so for context, right, REITs is a real estate investment trust. Okay, so this is a bit abnormal because for REITs, right, usually the movement is very slow. Okay, I'm not saying that the REITs will not go up or come down, but what I'm trying to say is that when REITs do go up or when they go down, They go up slowly, they go down slowly. Okay, barring any company specific news lah. Okay, so the risk movement is usually very small. But because of these 4 consecutive 0.75% rate hike, right, we see a very drastic drop in REITs. Okay, you may wonder why REITs. Okay, so let me take a few minutes to explain more on this. So REITs essentially is very poor. Okay, why are they very poor? Because by regulation, they need to pay out 90% of their profit to all the unit holders. Okay, so whatever they earn, they have to pay out 90%. Okay, then they can only keep 10% of the profit. So how are they going to survive? So they can only survive on bank loans. Okay, so on maybe on some equity financing as well lah. Okay, but most of them are bank loans. So when interest rate goes up, there's always a concern of the rise in the cost of borrowing for these REITs, especially those REITs who don't have a rate hedge or who have some of their loan that is due for refinancing. Okay, so there are a lot of concerns, and that result into a very sharp drop in the REITs, in the price of REITs. Okay, and the third event that actually impacted our market in 2022 was this China lockdown. Okay, just like I mentioned, right, at the turn of the year in 2022, a lot of companies has already relaxed their border restriction, open up their border, except for China. Okay, why? Because they want to adhere to their zero COVID-19 policy. And these have a very big impact on company that's listed on SGX. Why? First of all, supply chain. Okay, because company, a lot of some Singapore companies, they have factory in China. So when there's a lockdown, right, it affects the manufacturing there. And of course, that will in turn lead to a supply chain issue and subsequently a hit on the top line and bottom line. Okay, and that is not the only company with factories in China are not the only one being affected. Okay, even companies who are supplier to big tech companies that have factory in China are also getting affected. Okay, like for example, Nanofirm technology supply to Apple. Okay, and I think it's well publicized. So Apple have a lot of manufacturing in China, specifically Zhengzhou. Okay, and in 2022, we see a lot of lockdown in Zhengzhou, and more recently, there's even a violent protest there. Okay, so that disrupts the supply chain, okay, of the big tech company, which in turn affect those listed Singapore listed companies that supply to them. Okay, other firm I can think of is like AEM, who supply to Intel. Intel contribute about 90% of their revenue. Okay, and of course there's UMS who supply to Texas Instruments. Okay, so the fourth event is actually the appreciation of Singapore dollar. Okay, I cannot say that it is a wrong move. Okay, so what happened was that the MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, they appreciate the Sing dollar, okay, to help Singapore residents to ease up some of the inflationary pressure on price of goods. And by doing that, they actually did the result that they want. Okay, because when you appreciate the Sing dollar, right, your import becomes cheaper. As we all know, Singapore is we import almost everything lah. Okay, chicken, pork, electrical appliances, furniture, or whatever. So we virtually import everything. Okay, so by appreciating the Sing dollar, it makes all these imports cheaper when they come to Singapore. Okay, so that kind of elevate the inflationary pressure on the price of goods. Okay, however, from an economic point of view, right? Okay, they do this SGD appreciation, right? Do have their cons as well. Okay, so what happened is that they make export more expensive. Okay, and this will affect Singapore listed companies who are in the exporting business. Okay, because now when they export out, their goods become more expensive relative to the local products in the country that they are exporting to. Okay, so in a way, this company got hit. Okay, Another category of company that got hit is a company with overseas operation with subsidiary in other country. Okay, like for example, Singtel. Okay, Singtel have a presence in Australia. Okay, they also have a presence in India. Okay, but when it comes to financial reporting, right, all the P&L of all these subsidiaries have to be converted to Sing dollar. Okay, and even I mean a hypothetical example, even if Optus in Australia, even if the profit is constant, but when they convert to Sing dollar, right, it will actually translate to a forex loss because now Sing dollar has appreciated already. Okay, so the Aussie dollar has become smaller, so it will result to a forex loss. So these are the very four major factors that have been affecting the Singapore market back in 2022. Okay, but now we have to look forward. Okay, what is over is over. Okay, so moving forward to 2023, right? I would, in my personal opinion, okay, these three factors will still be the leading factor, okay, the leading event that is going to affect our Singapore market. Okay, first off, interest rate environment. Okay, so apparently, right, okay, at this juncture, it seems like there's a discrepancy between what the market thinks and what the Fed thinks. Okay, so for the market, right? Okay, give me a minute now. Okay, so what happened is that the Fed is going to have their first FOMC meeting on the 31st of January and 1st of February. And the first FOMC rate decision, will be out on the 1st of February 2023. Okay, and market, right, has been expecting a smaller rate hike than the past. Okay, in fact, a lot of analysts or market watchers is pricing a 25 basis point on 0.25%. Okay, and the consensus is that Fed is now close to the maximum level that you want to see for rates. So in a nutshell, right, in short, right, it means that the market thinks that in the next few FOMC meetings, the rate hike will be lower, and subsequently we will see the rate peaking in 2023. Okay, and hopefully by the end of the year or maybe even 2024, we might see a rate cut. But that is the future. But at this point in time, the market is expecting a lower rate hike, followed by a peak in the rate, and subsequently a rate cut in the future. Okay. However, it seems that the Federal Reserve, right, don't share the same sentiment. Okay. So what happened is that in its latest FOMC meeting minutes, the minutes for the December meeting, okay, the Fed's officer has already said that they see higher rate for some time. Okay. So this is what was actually in the official minutes of the last FOMC meeting. Okay, and they have in the minutes, right, they also say that they are committed to fighting inflation and expect higher rates to remain in place until more progress is made. Okay, and they also said that the public, right, okay, shouldn't read too much into the possibility of FOMC slowing down the pace of increase. Okay, so in a nutshell, right, what happened is that the FOMC meeting is, the Federal Reserve is still very hawkish. Okay, despite that the last December meeting is already a lower rate hike at 50 basis points. Okay, before that was 75. Okay, but they are still very hawkish. Okay, so coming back to this, right, in my own opinion, right, I tend to lean towards to what the market thinks. Okay, for a few good reasons lah. Okay, number one, I think the Federal Reserve are being hawkish because they want to play safe. Okay, they want to play safe so that they can they can lower the expectation of the market. Like for example, if rates indeed the rate hike is going to drag longer or higher, okay, at least the impact on the market is not that big because they have raised it. So, and if there's any upturn the chances of rate peaking and maybe unchanged rate, the market will go up. Okay, because they have already lowered the bar. Okay, that's the first reason. Number two, last Wednesday, US has came out with their CPI report for December, and that CPI report has already indicated easing of inflation. Okay, do take note that the Federal Reserve has already said that economic data will sway the direction, or rather sway the Federal Reserve decision on the rate direction. Okay, so if the data that's going to come out in the next few years, or rather in the next few months, is going to be favorable, or to show that inflation is easing, they will consider to do a smaller rate hike or even leave the rate unchanged. Okay, so that is what they say. Economic data will be the main thing that they'll be looking at. Okay, and last Wednesday, okay, the first data of 2023, or rather the first important data in 2023, have already indicated inflation is easing. Okay, well, of course, I'm not saying that the upcoming few economic data will all be the same, but I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a prophet, but this is at least a good start. Okay, and the third thing is that the Federal Reserve officer, right, especially specifically the chairman, Jerome Powell, is known to be very fickle-minded. Okay, in this part of the world, we call it plata flipping. Okay, so what happened was that last year, Powell was still saying that inflation is transitionary. Okay, and in a few months' time, he just changed his tune and said that, oh, inflation is real, we have to combat it by raising rates. Okay, and what happened, what transpired was that, as we have seen, is a 4 consecutive 0.75% rate hike. Okay, so actually they changed their mind pretty quickly. So even though they are very hawkish now, there is a pretty good chance that they might change their mind in the next few months or even the next few meetings, depending on how the economic data comes out to be. Okay. Okay. The next event to look out for in 2023 is the China reopening. Okay. This one, right, is a very big catalyst in 2023. Okay. Even the HSBC private banking, private wealth research, right, they were saying that this China reopening will probably be the biggest economic catalyst in 2023. Okay, why? Okay, first of all, okay, as we can see from some of news articles here, right, the Chinese leaders, okay, specifically CCP, has already vowed to put out the economy. Okay, just actually they stated 16th of December, but actually they have already said so way earlier, maybe in November. Okay, they already give some hints already. Okay, so they have already vowed to put out the economy. Why? Because President Xi Jinping has already secured his third term and as the most powerful man in China history since Deng Xiaoping. Okay, so now that he's moving to his third term already, he has to show some results. Okay, naturally, the next step is to prop up the economy so that all the Chinese citizens will be happy about it. Okay, number two, okay, I believe most of you might have read on social media that actually just last month, right, or 2 months ago, there is a major protest in many parts of China. Okay, Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen are among the major cities that saw protests to protest against the CCP and ask President Xi Jinping to step down. Okay, so in a bid to appease these Chinese residents, right? Okay, China has also abandoned key parts of their zero COVID strategy. Okay, specifically the lockdown. Okay, so they have already lifted the lockdown. Okay, to appease the Chinese citizens. Okay, but not all is rosy, you see. So once the lockdown is being lifted, okay, there were news coming out that there is a massive COVID outbreak in many parts of Singapore, or rather in many parts of China. My apologies, okay, in many parts of China. And I think I just read a report today. Okay, I think it's a news article from I think business time or Chinese New Year. So they were saying that since reopening, right, there is already 60,000 deaths in China due to COVID-related issue. Okay, so it's very real. Okay, and there is also news that there might be a new COVID-19 virus coming out as they reopen. Okay, but despite all this, right? Despite all this, okay, Beijing has already said that okay, they will still proceed with reopening, even if the cases is still rising. Okay, so this China reopening catalyst, right, is very, very real. I'm very optimistic about it. Okay, but do take note, nothing is 100%. Okay, but this one is surely a catalyst that a potential catalyst that we should be looking on, and we should include these, okay, in our trade plans. Okay. Okay. While the first two, well, I'm still very optimistic about the first two events, right? Okay. I'm not so optimistic about this Ukraine crisis. Okay. So this Ukraine-Russian war might prove to be a speed bump in the road to recovery. Okay, it is a headwinds that we really need to monitor. Okay, why? Okay, 24th of February, okay, 2022. That was the day where Russia invaded Ukraine. In a month's time, it will be a 1-year anniversary already. Okay, for the past few months, actually, through the public media, okay, we don't hear a lot about the war. Okay, so it kind of it kind of died down a bit. Okay, so just when we thought that maybe it will be over soon. Okay, earlier of this year, okay, we received a lot of news on public media that a lot of reports on this Ukraine-Russian war again. Okay, so you see, Putin has already told the Russians to prepare for a long fight in Ukraine. Okay, and it was reported that they even called more troops to fight the war. Okay, and of course it takes two hands to clap. Right now, in a war it takes two hands to clap. So while Russia is very determined to keep on fighting Ukraine, it seems like Ukraine is not ready to stand down. Okay, so Ukraine President Zelensky has been very defiant and about to fight on until the end. Okay, so with these two couldn't agree to a compromise, a consensus. Okay, there is always a possibility that this Ukraine-Russia crisis, okay, could be a stumbling block to the global economy. Okay, so this is one thing that we need to look out for, lah. Okay. Okay, so now we have seen what have happened in the past. Okay, we have also evaluate or see what are the events that may affect that is of very important in 2023. So what is the trade plan for 2023? Okay. Okay, different folk, different strokes. Okay, so if you guys go into my LinkedIn page, right, you'll probably see this. Okay, so having been in this industry for 20 years, right, I think I'm humbly qualified to say this lah. Okay, every investor is very unique in their own way. Okay, because every one of us have a different objective. Okay, we have a different style. Okay, some can be aggressive, while others can be very passive, or some can be very conservative as well. Okay, we have different risk tolerance. Okay, for some risk taker, okay, usually they will have a higher risk tolerance. Okay, compared to someone who is more conservative. Okay, and we also have different horizons. Okay, so don't just go for the best stock or best trade plan. Okay, always go for the right one, the suitable one. Okay, so when we come out with a trade plan in 2023, right? We don't just say, oh, okay, this stock has performed very well in 2022. Okay, therefore we go and buy it. Okay, no, okay, we don't do that, because if you do that, who knows, it's good because there is a calculated risk inside. Okay, and if the investor is not prepared to take on the risk, okay, then maybe the stock may not be suitable for him or her. Okay. So what happened is that I will just broadly categorize it. Okay. So if your profile is someone with no financial commitment or no family commitment, okay, like for example, if you already service all your study loan, your house loan, your home loan, okay, or your car loan, okay, or you are someone who are not married or married without kids, or your kids already grown up very grown up already, you don't really need to financially support them, then you can take on a slightly aggressive kind of trade plan. Okay. And for me, right, in my opinion, if you are going on down the road, right, you could probably look at some of the beneficiary of China reopening. Okay. I have already explained earlier on China reopening as one of the biggest catalysts going forward. Okay. In fact, just last week, right, 8th of January, okay, China has ended has relaxed their border restriction. So now, travelers can go into China without any quarantine. Okay, and Chinese citizen, right, they can also come out of China to travel to other part of the country. Okay, so it's already in the process already. Okay, and travelers from China, right? Okay, back in 2019, before the pandemic, okay, the Chinese tourists, right, made about 170 million trips and contribute about US 253 billion to the global economy. Okay, fast forward to 2023. Okay, so they are expecting that China traveler is projected to take about 110 million international trip. Okay, that's about 2/3 of the 170 million trip lah. So if you calculate it, right, 2/3 of US 253 million is about 160 billion USD. Okay, that's how much the reopening of China and China tourism can bring to the global economy. Okay, and in Singapore, right, specifically in Singapore, where we do a top-down approach, right? Okay, a few sectors will tend to benefit from this China reopening. Okay, obviously one of them is aviation. Okay, in Singapore we have this SIA. SIA has a very complete network, and they fly in and out of China. They have very frequent flights, and they travel to a lot of parts of China. Okay, even their subsidiaries too, like travel to apply to those so-called less touristy areas. Okay, so with China reopening, right, SIA or rather the aviation sector is one of the sectors that will really benefit from this China reopening. Okay, and you can see that actually, right, I have this SIA chart with me. Okay, so you see, when the news about this China reopening first came out, right, this is the time where they start to lift the lockdown. Okay, this was the date, okay, around the date where they actually where the quarantine was actually being lifted. Okay, so you see, throughout this period, right, the market is actually going up. Okay, or rather the SIA is actually going up. Okay, so it has already been proven that China reopening has a very big impact, okay, on SIA or aviation for the matter. Okay. So the other beneficiary of China reopening is perhaps tourism. Okay. Chinese tourists, right, make up about 40 to 50% of Singapore tourism. Okay. And with more Chinese tourists expected to hit Singapore shore, okay, a lot of sector could benefit. Okay. First off, hospitality. Okay, hotels. Okay, service apartment. Okay, when Chinese tourists come in, they need a place to stay. Okay, we have shopping mall, retail REITs. Okay, obviously when they come, they want to shop, okay, and when they shop, there are more footfall on the retail, on the retail malls, okay. Of course, in my opinion, there's also one very big beneficiary, okay, of this China reopening, and that is Genting Singapore, okay. So before the COVID, right, before the pandemic strike, actually Chinese high roller, or rather Chinese roller, okay, we call it people who visit the casino, make up about 50% of Genting's casino in Singapore, okay. And besides that, right, okay, there is also a very similar portion of Chinese tourists visiting RWS, USS, Universal Studio Singapore. Okay, so when we see a Chinese reopening, generally Genting Singapore should also benefit. Okay, because Chinese tourism actually comprises of quite a big part of their revenue. Okay, and looking at the chart of this Genting, right, as you can see, okay, ever since the news of the Chinese lockdown being lifted, okay, so this is the time where China announced that they will relax the lockdown, and subsequently along here, right, they were saying that the quarantine, the border will be easing, and January the 8th, where the people can actually travel, is around here. So throughout this period, as you can see, okay, Genting has been on an upward trend. Okay, so again, it was proven that the stocks, or rather the market, reacted to it. Okay, it's not like it could be reacting; it has already reacted, and it poised to even bring in better revenue to the company. Okay, because we are just at the start only. Okay. Okay, so other than China reopening, right? Another thing that you can look at, okay, for a slightly aggressive trade plan is bond ETF. Okay, so you see there is an inverse relationship between bond price and interest rate. Okay, so when interest rate goes up, bond price comes down, and that is what happened to the bond market in 2022. Okay, that's what happened to the bond slump. Okay, you call it. Okay, but now with rate expecting to peak in 2023, okay, if you are slightly more aggressive, you could probably look at bond ETF, because when interest rates start to come down, okay, bond price will go up. Okay, and bond ETF usually tracks the movement of bond price. Of course, different bond ETF track different thing. Okay, and in Singapore, right, on the SGX, I can just give you two examples of a bond ETF. Okay, so the first one is actually this Singapore ABF Singapore Bond Index Fund. Okay, so actually this fund is actually to seek investment return, okay, of bonds that is denominated in Sing dollar, issued or guaranteed, okay, by the Singapore government, okay, or any government in China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, and Thailand. Okay, collectively they are known as the Asian government. Okay, so these ABF Singapore Bond Index Fund actually track the bond price, okay, that is being issued in Sing dollar, issued and guaranteed by the Singapore government and the so-called Asian government. Okay, of course, I'm not saying that, oh, because it's a government bond, it will be a sure make. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, relatively speaking, right? Okay, if you are looking at bonds that is issued or guaranteed by the Singapore government, or for that matter, Asian government, it is relatively safer than the bond of maybe a SME or maybe some other private sector. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, so this is one bond that you can take a look. Okay, one bond ETF that you can take a look. Okay, the other bond ETF that you can actually take a look is this Nikko AM SGD investment graded corporate bond ETF. Okay, let me dissect for you. Okay, so SGD means that is denominated in Singapore. Investment grade, okay, by definition, right? By definition, it means that it must be graded like BBB and above. Okay, so the higher the grade, okay, the chances of default, the lower the chances of default. Okay, and this bond ETF, right, actually tracks those bonds that is non-sovereign. Okay, it means that it's not related to any government. Okay, but they are large cap. Okay, large cap means large market cap lah. Okay, so they are all very big company. Okay, and investment grade. Okay, as I mentioned just now. Okay, so these are the things that these are the bonds that this ETF is seeking to track the investment return of all these bonds. Okay, so these two ETF, these two bond ETF is something that you want to consider as well if you are looking at a bond ETF. Okay, so if your profile is say for example, if you just got married, okay, you just bought a house, you know, you have a family commitment, you have financial commitment, okay, you may want to take a slightly more conservative approach to the market. Okay, so in this case, right, okay, you can actually look at what we call defensive yield investing. Okay, the general consensus is that people buy into the stock market, they buy low, sell high, make money, happy, go home. Okay, actually it's more than that. Okay, it's actually more than that. Okay, if you ask any strategies, right, okay, there's actually a different form of strategy in the stock market. One of it is what we call yield investment. Okay, so for yield investment, right, basically you buy into a stock that is very stable. Okay, it doesn't matter if the growth is very small. Okay, but it must be stable, and they give out regular and stable dividend yields over time. Okay, so defensive yield investing, it means that you are looking at some of the stocks that has a track record of stability and regular dividend that is being paid out and consistent. Okay, not only regular but also consistent dividend being paid out. Okay, and I can give you an example on SGX. That will be a Capital Infrastructure Trust. Okay, so it's a sort of infrastructure REITs. Okay, as I explained earlier, right, REITs is actually a real estate investment trust. So infrastructure REITs means that the portfolio or the property portfolio of this REIT is mostly infrastructure assets. Okay, like your power plant, your water dam, your electricity power generator station or things like that. Okay, so they are very defensive in nature because even if there's a recession or there's a downturn, right, we still need water, we still need electricity. Okay, and Capital Infrastructure Trust happen to be one of the infrastructure trusts that is being listed on SGX. Okay, so you can take a look, right? So this is the chart. This is the chart of Capital Infrastructure Trust. So as you can see, right? They are very, very stable, even way back to 2021, right? Okay, the price has always been very stable, from about 52 cents to about 57 half. Okay, around there, or rather 56 half. So they have been very consistent. Okay, once in a while when they are good news, they go up. Okay, obviously, okay, when the news on these fourth consecutive 0.75% rate hike was announced, right? As I mentioned earlier, all the REITs suffer, okay, including Capital Infrastructure Trust. So what happened is that they went down also. Okay, but do take note, like when they go down, right, they didn't actually drop a lot, and they actually recovered back to where they originally is, where they originally be trading. Okay, and to prove my point, right, we can actually just zoom out a bit. Okay, just zoom out a bit, and if you notice, right, they have actually been quite stable even before the pandemic. Okay, it was always at the 50%. Okay, this one this one, okay, is actually the height of the COVID-19, the pandemic, the first lockdown in Singapore, and all the stocks behave in this way. Okay, the good thing is that they recovered within 2 weeks. Okay, while other stocks maybe you'll see around here only. Okay, but this one actually recovered within 2 weeks. Okay, so you can see that over time, right? This capital infrastructure trust has proven to be very stable. Okay, even when during the height of pandemic they drop, they come back in within 2 weeks. Okay, and the best part is they actually give out very consistent and very good dividend. Okay, maybe just let me clarify. Just a few terms that I've been using. Okay, dividend is for stocks. Okay, the dividend for REITs we call it distribution. Okay, but actually they are the same. Okay, I just want to push it point to you because later on I use the word distribution. Okay, so actually dividend and distribution is the same. Okay, so as you can see, right, for capital infrastructure trust, before the pandemic, they give about 3.7 cents. Okay, even during the pandemic, right? Okay, they give out slightly less than 8 cents. Okay, but in between the pandemic, they are still back to 3.7 cents. Okay, and 2022 is 3.8 cents. So it's very, very consistent. Okay, and the best part is the dividend yield is high. Okay, this is taken using this amount divided by the price of 55 cents. Okay, which is the last closing price today. Okay, so you see that if based on 55 cents, right, the yield has always been very good. Okay, 5 to at least 5%. Okay, if not more than that. Okay, so this is a very, very stable REIT. Okay, of course, that is barring any company specific news. Okay, so far, capital infrastructure trust has been quite okay. Okay, so that is the thing that we've been putting across. Okay, so another, if you are on a slightly more conservative trade plan, right, you can also look at a company, okay, with very resilient business, okay, like Sheng Siong. Okay, Sheng Siong manage a supermarket. Okay, so during the pandemic, right, not only that they didn't drop, it actually went up because everyone still need basic necessity. Everyone still need to buy basic necessity like toilet paper, like your grocery, you know, your whatever lah. Okay, so supermarket is a very resilient business. Okay, consumer discretionary, and if you look at the chart of Sheng Siong, right, you will find that actually for the year 2022, instead of going down, we actually trend up. But do take note, because this one is very defensive, actually the rise is not very big. Okay, the rise is not very big. The high is about 160 and the low is about 140. So it's only like a 20% rise only. Okay, so the rise is not, it's nothing to crow about, but what I like is that it's very resilient. Okay, even during a downturn. And you look at what happened during the pandemic. So during the pandemic, right, there's the peak of the pandemic, as I mentioned, all stocks became the same way. Okay, but straight after that, right, it actually went up to a high of 1.8 something, which is their multiple year high. Yeah. So this one, Sheng Siong, is a very resilient stock. Okay, so if you are very conservative, or rather if you are taking on a slightly conservative trade plan, Sheng Siong is definitely one counter you want to take a look at. Okay. Okay, so let me take that, right? Okay, let me see. I still got some time left. Okay, if I said at the start of this webinar, okay, I want to bring some value to you. Okay, I want to share my own trade plan for you, my own trade plan for 2023 to you, and hopefully they can generate some investment idea for you. Okay, it may not be the best trade plan. Okay, it may or may not be suitable for you. Okay, but you can just share it and see whether you resonate with it or not. Okay. Okay, so my trade plan for 2023, right, is somewhere in the middle. Okay. So okay, just now I think I did mention a bit of it. Okay. when we come up with a trade plan in 2023, okay, we shouldn't just say, oh, this stock is very good, I want to buy this stock. Okay, this stock looks very good. Okay, so maybe you should put some money in it. Okay, actually to formulate a trade plan like that isn't the way. Okay, the most important is that you must have an investment objective. You must know what you want to achieve, okay, in your trade plan. Okay, for me, right, okay, these are a few things I will be looking at. Okay, number one, obviously, capital gain. Okay, market is already bottoming already, or rather expected to be bottoming. Okay, as I explained earlier, okay, the optimism of a low rate hike, we are recovering from the pandemic. Even China, okay, among the last few countries to do so, has already started to reopen, or rather has already reopened because it's already past the 8th of January. Okay, so I'll be looking at capital gain, obviously. Okay, and my personal preference is to look at forward-looking sector. Okay, of course, everyone can look at different sector. Some like to look at banks, some like to look at property, some like to look at technology. Okay, but for me, for 2023, I want to look at something that is more futuristic. Okay, more forward-looking. Okay, and I also want to have a plan B in case something goes wrong. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, okay, uncertainty still persists. Okay, well, the first important economic data, PPI data, last week was good. Okay, it shows inflation is easing, but that doesn't mean that the next few data will stay the same. I mean, it is projected to show easing inflation, but we don't have a crystal ball, or rather, I'm not a prophet as well, so I cannot predict the future. Okay, so there's always the possibility that something will go wrong. Okay, of course, just now I mentioned about a new variant in China. Okay, so far there is not much news on it. Okay, so the possibility of that happening is very small, but very small doesn't mean it will not happen. Okay, of course, I'm also wary about this Ukraine-Russia war. Okay, it seems to be prolonged again. Okay, there's so far there's no foreseeable solution to it as yet. Okay, until something comes out. Okay. Okay, so these will be my trade plans. Okay, so I'll be looking at renewable energy and REITs. Okay, for context, right? Actually, under REITs, there's a lot of subsectors. Okay, so we have retail REITs, we have office REITs, we have hospitality REITs, we have industrial REITs, we have logistic REITs, we have data center REITs. We have so many REITs. Okay, and the one that I will be looking at will be hospitality and retail and office. Okay, then for the renewable energy side, right, I'll be looking at Capricorn and Senco Industry. Okay, two of the major renewable player listed on HGX. Okay, and for REITs, right, for hospitality, I'll be looking at Capital Land, Escort Trust, and for retail and office, I'll be looking at Capital Integrated Commercial Trust. Okay, I will explain one by one as I go along. Okay, renewable energy. Renewable energy, right? This word is not something new. Okay, I believe most of you have already heard of it. Okay, so everyone is now pushing for renewable energy, sustainability, ESG. Okay, by the way, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Okay, so even on the so on the United Nations website, right? They have already said that renewable energy, okay, is the future already. Okay, because of climate challenge, and renewable energy is all the key to the solution of these climate challenge that we currently have. Okay, then they even list out 5 reasons, okay, why renewable energy is good. Okay, so as they said, renewable energy sources are all around us. Okay, so actually, according to this International Renewable Energy Agency, right, almost 90% of the electricity can and should come from renewable energy by 2050. Okay, they have also said that renewable energy is cheaper. Okay, why cheaper? Okay, you see, because of the Ukraine war, right? Okay, commodity price has been shooting up. Okay, energy costs in India, right, has been at sky high. Okay, because of that, right? Although these solar and wind power costs has also went up, okay, but relatively speaking, right, okay, they are still actually the rate of increase is actually still lower than the sharp increase in gas and coal prices. Okay, so renewable energy is actually cheaper. Okay, of course, renewable energy is healthier, as we all know. They create jobs as well, and they actually make economic sense. Okay, because you don't have to like for example SIA. Okay, they don't have to depend on the price of oil. They don't have to do an oil hedge. Okay, so it actually makes economic sense. Okay. Okay, so why Capricorn? Okay, because sorry. Okay, why Capricorn? Okay, actually, back in 2020, Capricorn has already realized the potential of these renewables. Okay, so back in 2020, they have actually come up with a 10-year plan called Vision 2030. So in this plan, right, they are going to streamline their business, okay, into 4 key business areas. One of which is energy and environment. Okay, and for context, right, Capricorn used to be an oil and gas play as well. Okay, but now they are going to evolve themselves into 4 key business areas, which none of which is oil and gas. Okay, and they also aim to focus on renewable and ESG goals. Okay, to create sustainability and synergies. Okay, so this is their march towards Vision 2030. Okay, to transform or evolve themselves into a powerhouse in the renewable sector. Okay, and the thing is that they are not no action top only. Okay, they are actually walk the talk. Okay, so what happened in just in 2022 alone? Okay, they have already divested or in the midst of divesting some of the companies, like for example non-core business, Keppel Logistics. They divested it sometime in I think March or April last year. Okay, and they are in the midst of divesting these Keppel O&M as well. So O&M used to be a very major component of their business. Okay, that's why they are always a oil and gas play in the past before 2020. So what happens is that when oil price goes up, Capricorn also go up. When oil price come down, Capricorn come down. Okay, so they used to be an oil and gas play, but now it's totally different. And in the year 2022, right, they have also made a lot of new acquisitions. I just outlined 3 of them. Okay, so they bought a portfolio of European onshore wind energy. So it's a kind of a renewable energy portfolio. Okay, they have also acquired 2 waste management companies, one in South Korea and one in Singapore. Okay, so you can see where they are going already. Okay, so they are going to divest the oil and gas, the non-core asset, and they are going to streamline their business and move toward renewability and sustainability. Okay, and besides that, right, besides walking the talk, okay, we have to know that actually Capricorn is also having a very strong fundamental. Okay, so back in 1H22, because 2H22 the result is not out yet, okay, they will be out in the next month. Okay, so based on the latest financial result, the first half of 2022, okay, it seems that it shows that the net profit has actually risen 66% year on year. Okay, and they also have declared a higher interim dividend of 15 cents per share. Okay, and if you notice here, right, 15 cents is among it's not the highest but it's among the highest Okay, so what happened is that this strong set of 1H22 result, right, it provide the stability that I'm looking for. Okay, the stability and the dividend payout, the strong dividend payout is actually my plan B. Okay, so if you notice, right, before the pandemic, okay, they still make a profit and they give out 33 cents. Okay, when the pandemic strike, right, although it's during the pandemic period, they still make a profit and they are still committed to pay out dividend. Okay. Okay, and 2022, as they came out from pandemic, they are already giving out more than pre-pandemic level already. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that if things go wrong, okay, if let's say another pandemic hit or for something that goes wrong, okay, Capital Corp is very likely to withstand the downturn, okay, to generate a profit. And on top of that, they are still committed to pay out dividend to shareholders, okay, to shareholders like me, for example, okay. So this is something that I'm looking at, okay. The next one, Sembawang Corp industry, okay. So Sembawang Corp industry, according to SGX website, right, Sembcorp industry is a leading energy and urban solution provider, okay. So they are focusing on renewables and integrated urban solutions. Okay, they already have an energy portfolio which includes a lot of renewables like solar, wind, and energy storage. Okay, and they already have a proven track record of transforming raw land into sustainable urban development across Asia. Okay, but do you know something? 2 years ago, right? It's not like that. Okay, so what happened is that, sorry. So 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, Sembcorp industry, like Capital Corp, is considered an oil and gas play as well. Okay, but they also see that renewable energy is the way to go going forward. Okay, so actually back in 2020, they have already demerged from their subsidiary Sembawang Corp Marine, okay, to focus on their own growth segment, which is the renewable, the urban solution, the energy sector. Okay, so this prove to be they're very committed. You see, it's their resolution, okay, to evolve into renewable energy, because before that, Sembawang Marine is actually a very big part of Sembawang Corp industry business. Okay, it's a very big part. Okay, but in a bid to become a renewable energy, they actually merge with them and stay committed to it. Okay, and they, like Capital Corp, okay, they walk the talk. Okay, you see the date here. This is 15 November. Okay, this is 17 December. So all these are just in the last 2 months. Okay, so in the last 2 months, the short last 2 months, they have already so many things. Okay, so they launched new carbon management solution. You know, they built the first modern ready-made warehouse. Okay, they acquire another new energy company in China. Okay, so they partner Singapore Poly to pilot smart recycling initiative, things like that. Okay, so you can see that they are very committed and fully committed into this renewables sector. And if renewable sector is the future, right? Okay, Sembcorp industry and for that matter Capital Corp, okay, tend to benefit from it because they are already fully committed into it already, right now. It's not like they are doing like halfway there, halfway there. No, they are really fully committed to it already. Okay, in fact, that is their core business already. Okay. Maybe I would like you just to sidetrack a bit. So maybe for you guys who would like to look at the Singapore market, to invest in the market, and you want to know more information about the market, actually all these news, right, can be found at the SGX website. Okay. So if you are interested in share market, this is the website to be. Okay, why? Okay, first of all, if there's any stock that you want to know, you just go to the stock screener, okay, and type whichever company, let's say for example, I want to know about Sembcorp industry. Okay, so once you click inside, you see that there's a price and chart, there's company info, there's a latest financial statement, there's even company announcement. So every single important announcement they have to put on SGX website. Okay, and if you want to know more, know the earlier one, you just click on view all. Okay, so this is the website you need to be, and maybe I'll just add on a bit. Okay, if you are, let's say for example, you don't know what REITs is, you want to know more about REITs, you want to know more about business trust. Okay, what's the difference between a REIT and a business trust, and some of the product on SGX. Okay, you can also click on more. Okay, so they have a very comprehensive explanation on what they are. Okay, and talking about ESG, right, about renewables, right, actually there's one thing I want to add is that even in Singapore, right, ESG is very big. Okay, so under SGX, right, it makes a regulation that there will be, going forward, there will be sustainability reporting by listed company. Okay, they even have this, or rather actually even have this stock rating of by this ESG. Okay, So ESG is something that's going to be very big in the coming years, I would say. Okay. Okay. So do I have more time? Okay, just let me quickly finish this. Okay. So the other thing that I want to add into my portfolio is S-REIT. Okay, REIT that's listed in Singapore. Why? Okay, I mentioned earlier, REITs has been battered down greatly in 2022. Okay, due to the interest rate hike. Okay, the unprecedented interest rate hike that we have seen in years. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, okay, the latest CPI data has already indicated easing inflation. Okay, then that would probably make the Federal Reserve not so hawkish and maybe stay on the course of lower rate hike and subsequently maybe unchanged rate in the near future. Okay, so risk is actually poised for a rebound. Okay, and at this level, right, most of the risks, I'm talking about the big risks, I'm not talking about the small risks, I'm talking about big risks. Okay, at this level, right, based on historical dividend payout, they are actually the historical dividend yield is actually at a very attractive level. Okay, I need to explain a bit here. Okay, so dividend yield, right, equals to dividend payout divided by price. Okay, so when the price drop, naturally the dividend yield will go up. That's provided that the dividend payout is the same. Okay, so based on last year dividend payout, okay, over the REIT price now, okay, the dividend yield is very attractive now. Okay, and I want to back up my claim with data. Okay, so what happened is that this IH S-REIT index, it tracks the REITs that is trading on SGX. You can see that, okay, since the fourth consecutive 0.75% rate high, right, the 75 basis point, REITs have fallen a lot. Okay, but towards the tail end, right, they have actually recovered quite a bit. I won't say quite a bit, recover a bit, okay, and it has been staying constant. Okay, and on the trading side, right, okay, ESOP IH S-REIT ETF, an ETF that tracks the index that I have just said earlier. Okay, you can see that even on the trading side, it shows the same thing. Okay, the REITs coming down, okay, but the price coming down, but has already rebounded a bit and has already stayed constant. So this will be a sort of a historical price support here already. Okay. Okay, maybe you must be wondering why REITs in Singapore, why not REITs in Tokyo, why not REITs in Australia, why not REITs in Hong Kong? Okay, so this data is actually taken out from SGX as well. Okay, it's actually taken out from this S-REIT and Property Trust chart book, which SGX released on a monthly basis. Actually, the January one, okay, is out just yesterday, but I don't have time to update it now. But anyway, it's almost the same. Okay, so what happened is that based on this December chart book, right, you can see that for our S-REIT, right, the last 1 year return is about minus 9.3%. And that is relatively better than a lot of REITs in other markets like, you know, Australia, Hang Seng, and US REIT. Okay. Yeah, Tokyo got did make a 2.1% return, but if you look at the dividend yield, right, they are also having one of the lowest dividend yield. The rest are IH S-REIT index, right? They actually provide us with the highest dividend yield. Okay, same, take out from the same source. Okay, S-REIT and Property Trust chart book. You can see that this IH S-REIT rank among all the highest dividend yield. Okay, and the volatility is actually less than that of ASX, the Australia one, the US one, and probably the Hang Seng one also. Okay, and the Tokyo one is actually here. Okay, actually the volatility would have been smaller if not for the interest rate high. So if you have time, you can go back to see last year, or rather 2021, you'll see that the volatility is actually much less. Okay, it's only this year that because of the interest rate hike that you see the volatility actually went out a bit. Actually, it used to be here. Okay. Okay, so now talking about the merit of REITs, what are the REITs that I like? Okay, so the REITs that I'll be looking at are REITs that have potential catalysts. Okay, they have room to grow. Okay, and preferably they have a very strong sponsor. Okay, of course, government link is the strongest lah. Okay, and the REITs I like, as I mentioned earlier, I want to have dividend, a decent dividend yield and a stable one. That's my plan B. Okay, of course, a lower gearing will be good because lower gearing means that I have a lower exposure. The REITs will have a lower exposure to rates. Okay, the rate hike. Okay, of course, I would prefer a REIT with a longer rate hedge. Okay, because you'll be more resilient to rate hikes. Okay, long hedge means that you have signed, you have a lot of debt on fixed rate for a longer period of time. Okay, so that's what we call rate hedge. Okay, so the sector I've been looking at, as I mentioned in my earlier, right, in my trade plan, is hospitality and retail and office. You may be wondering why. Okay, so as you can see, right, okay, hospitality has actually recorded significant improvement over the second half of 2022. Okay, that's because of pent-up demand for overseas travels. So this is not even including China, mind you, because China is not open yet at 2H or the second half of 2022. Okay, and retail REITs, okay, have also recorded marked recovery in footprint, in footfall, okay, and some even exiting the pre-COVID level. Okay, and for office REIT, right, we have also seen growth in occupation rate and rental reversion. Okay, that is why I'll be looking at REITs in this subsector, I would say. Okay, so this is taken out I think just a few days ago. Okay, so Singapore tourism, right, or rather tourism in Singapore, okay, is forecasted to double to over 12 million. Okay, and full recovery is expected by 2024. So tourism is a very major potential catalyst going forward. And in my opinion, hospitality, retail are most likely to benefit from it. Why? Because when tourists come in, they have to stay at somewhere. Okay, when tourists come in, Singapore is a shopping haven, so most likely they'll be shopping around. Okay, so that is the thing that I'll be looking at. Okay, hospitality REITs. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, hospitality REITs set the benefit from China reopening. Okay, and China tourism. Okay, when I say China tourism, right, it doesn't mean that only China tourists coming to Singapore. Okay, it even means China tourists traveling to other part of Singapore, okay, to other parts of our country, and even within China. Because hospitality REITs in Singapore, right, okay, that's listed on SGX, they don't only have property in Singapore, they have property in other countries as well. Okay, so the one hospitality REIT that I'll be looking at is CapitaLand Escort Trust. Why? Okay, because it's the largest lodging trust in Asia Pacific. Okay, with an asset value of $7.6 billion. Okay, it is very big. Okay, they have about 95 properties in about 44 cities over 15 countries. Okay, that is very huge. And they have a strong sponsor as well, CapitaLand Investment, which is the Temasek link. Okay, they provide decent dividend as well. In 2022, they pay out a total of about 5.126 cents. Okay, the share price of these CapitaLand Escort Trust, if I remember correctly, is a 1.0 something. Okay, so that worked out to be close to the 5% mark. Okay, gearing ratio not too high, 35%, and they have 76% of their debt of fixed rate. Okay, with a weighted average debt to maturity of 3.5%, 3.5 years. So that is not too bad. Okay, so the rate hedge is there, the rate hedge is there. Okay, the low gearing is there, the strong sponsor is there, a stable dividend, and big enough. Okay, a very big REITs to provide stability. Okay, so you see that this is the largest lodging trust, right? So you can see that they have a lot of property in a lot of countries. I just name a few. Malaysia, okay, Singapore, South Korea, UK, US, Singapore, Australia, okay, and Japan. And what happened is that according to an article, right, okay, the country that Chinese tourists most want to visit, Japan, Thailand, South Korea, US, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, and the UK actually make it to the top 10 destination outside of the mainland. Okay, so CapitaLand Escort Trust, right, is also a beneficiary if the Chinese tourists went to this country, because there is always a chance that they will stay at one of the hotel or that in one of the property under this escort. Okay, and if you notice, right, Capital Land Escort Trust, right, they also have property in China. Okay, they also have hotel in China. So even Chinese domestic tourism, right, they also stand to gain. Okay, because they also have hotels inside China. Okay, to boost tourism there. So that is why Capital Land Escort Trust is something that I've been looking at very closely. Okay. Okay, so these are just some data, 35%, 35.8% gearing. Okay, you see now the rate, the cost of borrowing in the market is about 3.something% at least. Okay, about 3% for me 4 or 5%, but they are paying at 1.7 per annum. Okay, so their borrowing rate is still very low. Okay, and they have about 76% of their debt on fixed rate. Okay, so this is a plus for them. Okay, now coming back, coming over to this retail office REIT. Okay, why retail office REIT? As I mentioned earlier, okay, retail sales has been growing. Okay, according to this Department of Statistics Singapore, right, we can see that actually retail growth has been growing since 2021. Okay, so blue means that the retail sales is growing. Yellow means that the retail sales is contracting. Okay, in 2021, it's still unstable. So you see, wow, sometimes very high, sometimes very low. Okay, but if you zoom into 2022, right, you'll find that now it starts to get stable already. Okay, except for the month of February, actually retail sales has been consistently growing. Okay, at a stable rate. It's not like, you know, sometimes very high, sometimes very low. Okay, so this one provides sustainability. Okay, and why retail office REIT? Because they are traditionally they give out very high average dividend yields. Okay, in general. Okay, of course they are poised to further benefit from the global China reopening, as I said earlier. And I also said earlier that Singapore is among the top 10 destinations for China tourists. So more footfall and more. Okay, that's what retail REITs. Okay, so these are just some data again from these data from this SGX that they release every month. Okay, you can see that office REIT and retail REIT usually give out the highest average dividend yield. Okay, of course, this is the average dividend yield, it's not the dividend yield of any particular REIT itself. Okay, even in the January one, right, these two still rank among the top. Okay, so if you are looking for plan B, looking at dividend or looking at yield investment, okay, probably these are something that you want to take a look at. Okay, so the next REIT that I'm actually looking at is Capital Land Integrated Commercial Trust. Okay, short form CICT. Okay, CICT is actually the first and largest REIT listed on SGX with a market cap of 13.5 billion. Okay, Escort is 7.6, here is 13.5. Okay, Escort is the largest lodging trust. Okay, but this one is the first and largest REIT. Okay, listed on SGX. This name may sound unfamiliar, but actually they are Capital Mall. Okay, so back in July 2022, right, they actually debuted as Capital Mall Trust. Okay, but they will rename as CICT because they merged with these Capital Land Commercial Trust, hence becoming a two-in-one REITs that comprises of retail and office. Okay, so together, right, their portfolio comprises of 21 properties in Singapore. Okay, 2 in Frankfurt, Germany, and 3 in Sydney. Okay, if this is a very big contrast to Escort. Okay, which is why I choose that, because I don't want to choose two very similar ones. So Escort, right, they have property all over the world. Okay, whereas Capital, these are CICT, right, they have a lot of property in Singapore. Okay, so I want to have something different. I don't want to have the same thing in my trip plan. I mean, if that's the case, if all things falls, you know, everything falls, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, so the latest dividend payout, okay, which is September 22, is 5 cents, 5.22 cents. I'll come to that later. Okay, gearing ratio is slightly higher at 41.2%, but the good thing is that 80% of their debt is hedged on fixed rate, and their term to maturity is actually 4.1 years, so it's quite long. Okay, and I forgot to mention that they also have a strong sponsor, Capital Land Investment within the market. Okay, Coming back to this dividend, right, distribution, right? Okay, why do I need to explain a bit on this? Because in the past, they pay out 4 times a year. Okay, but since 2021, they have already changed their distribution to 2 times a year. Okay, so I don't have the data for 2022 because 2022 they only pay out 1 time, September, which is 5.22 cents. Okay, the next one, okay, it is going to be announced maybe in the next earnings season now. Okay, so I will use data from 2021. Okay, so in 2021, right, they fell about 10.4 cents. Okay, the share price of these CICT as of today's closing, if I remember, is about 2.0 something lah. Okay, so that worked out to be about plus minus 5% as well. Okay, which is very good to me lah, at least to me. Okay, so these are just some data. Okay, 4.12%. Okay, and term to maturity 4.1 years, and 80% hedge on fixed rate. Okay. Okay, so that's all for me. So this is my trade plan in general. As I want to say again, okay, this may not be the best trade plan, but I hope, okay, I have provide some investment idea to you guys, and hopefully all this information is helpful to you when you come to formulate your own trade plan. Okay, but before I go, right, there's always some key takeaways that I want you guys to have before I end the webinar. Okay, number 1, don't just go for the best stock. Okay, go for the right one. Okay, everyone is different. Okay, so you don't just choose you know, like everyone say this is good. Okay, you just go for it. No, you must buy something that's suitable for you, suitable to your investment objective, to your horizon, and most importantly, to your risk tolerance level. Okay, one with a high risk tolerance can take on more risk. Okay, but another one investor with a lower risk tolerance level, okay, by buying a high risk, high return stock, it may not be suitable for him. Okay, especially when things go wrong. Okay, second, what to buy and when to buy. Okay, actually for today's webinar, right, it's not actually I don't have enough time to give you a complete one. Okay, so there's a difference between what to buy and when to buy. Okay, when you have formulated your own trade plan, you know what to buy already. It doesn't mean that you just go in the market and buy. Okay, you have to use a bit of maybe technical analysis. Okay, to plot your entry. Okay, but that will be another topic for another day. Okay, so hopefully I have another chance to collaborate with MT trader, and perhaps maybe we can touch on that in our next webinar if there's a chance. Okay, so what to buy and when to buy is totally different. Okay, so that is the second takeaway. Okay, third one is the most important thing. Okay, you only make money when you sell, not when you buy. Okay, a lot of throughout my 20 years in the industry, right, a lot of investors often oversee this point. Okay, they keep on wanting to get into a very good position, the entry point. Okay, but they never get out when there's a profit. Okay, especially before the pandemic strike. Okay, actually I advise a lot of people to sell, but sell not because I know the pandemic is coming. Sell because they are already it's already exited their profit target already. Okay, but they end up not selling. Okay, so you only make money when you sell, not when you buy. Okay, don't join a race without a finishing line. Okay, you must always have a finishing line. Okay, a complete trade consists of one buy and one sell. Okay, and cash is king. Okay, money in the pocket is the real thing. Okay, so with that, I come to the end of my webinar. Before I pass the floor back to Casey, right? I hereby want to wish everyone happy Chinese New Year. Okay, 恭喜发财, 万事如意. For those who are not celebrating Chinese New Year, happy holidays and have a good long weekend. Okay, over to you, Casey.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan, for the insightful sharing. And thank you for all our viewers for staying tuned through this session. Let me just share my screen quickly. Okay, so we have overrun quite a bit. So for today, we will just cut the Q&A section now. Yeah. So for those who want to know more about trading in Singapore, you can visit this link or the QR code on the screen for more information. If you want to join the Telegram channel to get a first-hand insight on stock market in Singapore, you can join the Telegram group by scanning the QR code here. And once again, thank you very much, Dan, for this session. And we will start our Q&A, we will start our mysterious gift session very soon. So please prepare for it. This is our trading account details. If you are interested, you can scan the QR code here. Yeah, so here's our mysterious gift session today. Okay, you can win up to 249 ringgit. We will show up the questions on the screen and then also the answer option. You just need to select or send the correct answer the fastest. So the fastest will win the gift. We will pick 2 winners for Zoom and for each question. Yeah, there will be 3 questions, so 6 winners in total. So get ready your keyboard. Right, the first question, which option below is a significant event that happened in year 2022? Yeah, so the answer is A, Ukraine crisis. And I believe we have our winner already. So congratulations, Victor and KM. Remember to use the Google link or the form here on the screen to send us your contact details. Okay. So next, according to Dan, what can we look forward to in year 2023? The answers are quite similar. So the answer is C, lower rate hikes. Okay, we are expecting lower rate hikes from the Feds. And I believe we have winner, Liu Yuk Long and also Te 888. Remember to use the link on the screen or on the chat box to send us your contact details for the gifts. Last question, ready? Which SG counter mentioned below? Which SG counter below is mentioned by Dan today? It's very obvious. Okay, so the winner is, or the answer is Keppel Corporation, Keppel REITs. So the winner is user and also Chill. Remember to use the link to send us your contact details so that we can arrange the gifts for you. Okay, that's all for our event today. While waiting for our winners, remember to submit your screenshot or take a screenshot of this webinar so that you can claim your check-in rewards. Okay, and if you want the quiz, remember to register for the webinar so that you can get our post-webinar updates, including the recordings and also the quiz, because I saw someone asking about the recordings as well. And we have the CNY campaign running through. You can get a free calendar once you open a trading account with our selected advertiser or redeem our MQ merchandise on our marketplace. Victor, thank you for sending us your form. Yeah, so remember to like and follow us on our social media, on our Facebook, Instagram, and also i3 Investor MQ Chat so that you can get our most latest market updates. And if you have any questions that you want to answer that we can't answer today, you can always use our WhatsApp or to send us your contact details, to send us your questions, and we will try to answer it as soon as possible. You can even email us or PM us on Facebook or Instagram as well. So once again, thank you everyone for staying tuned. That's all for today's event. I will close my video camera for a while and keep the webinar running so that you can refer to the links. And for all the winners, remember to send us your contact details before the webinar ends. Chiu, a quick answer. How to check the 300 MQ points is, one is you need to become our MQ Trader member. Let me just show you quickly the screen again. Okay, open a trading account with our selected advertiser, be our MQ Trader member, and then take a screenshot of the webinar, submit it into the quiz. The points will be credited to you within 1 week after you have submitted the quiz. Okay, you can check your MQ Trader account for it. We will also send email to inform you when we have credited the 300 MQ points as well. Okay, so that's all for today. I will close my camera now. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day and happy Chinese New Year.
Thanks for watching.